remember when I told you guys I was ashamed to like rats before? Because like, okay, here's the context. Like, I'm not sure if I fully said this, but I remember I was afraid to fully admit that I liked rats because like I remember so many people had a bad stigma about it, right? Especially during 2022. I remember a lot of people in the community, like when I heard like how much they hated rats, I'm like, oh wow, they're one of my favorite animals ever, right? Because they're really sweet and misunderstood little critters, right? But then like a lot of people have this idea, especially like non-Americans or like non-Westerners, right? They see rats as just like completely dirty and filthy, right? Like, with the exception of New York City, because like New York is overrun by the rats. Like damn, they got taken over, bro. The rats run the city and shit like that. But like I'm talking about like everybody else in Asia and like maybe parts of Europe too, because of like the plague and shit like that. I get that, right? But like, and then maybe in like Australia and Africa as well. Like dude, all of them, there's like they don't understand rodents and shit like that because they come across as like filthy like creatures that just dig out of the trash, like skunks and possums and shit like that, right? And I feel like man, they are so misunderstood. But I understand that from their perspective, they're usually seen as dirty little animals and stuff. But like over here, like I was like I said, I was ashamed to like fully express that I really love them because they're so adorable and cute and precious and fuzzy and like they mean so well and they're so warm to hold and they're one of like the cleanest animals if you domesticated them too. Like out of all like the rodents and like one of the pets that you could own, rats are by far one of the cleanest like animals that you could own as well. Like they clean themselves up really well, they groom themselves, right? They're very like friendly and like are very intelligent animals as well, right? And the sad thing is just they don't live that long, right? And I just love them so much. But like back to what I was saying, back in 2022, like I felt like I was ashamed because I remember when I was suggested a rat as one of the guildie models like for our community mascot, right? I suggested rats and I felt really terrible because a lot of people were like, ew, we don't want to be rats. I'm like, you didn't say that to me. What? You just said that they're disgusting critters. I can't believe this, right? And then that made me self-conscious to fully admit that I liked rats. But then I said, you know what, fuck that. I'm gonna be open about what I like, and that really shows a lot about my character growth as a person and as a streamer throughout the past few years. Because I remember I censored myself a lot and was afraid to fully express myself out of fear that a lot of the community back then, right, would not agree with the things that I liked or who I was. But then like, wait, I don't want to jeopardize my own happiness and my position as a human being, right? I want to be true to myself because I feel like being true to yourself in a community, right, is what really highlights you as a really amazing streamer, right? As a part of the VTuber community, not just a VTuber community, but like as a streamer community in general, or like just as a content creator, being true to yourself is what means the most. And like in my brain, I'm like, yeah, I've got that idea through in 2023, but like back in 2022, I thought like that was not the plot. Like I shouldn't do that because like I fully believe like you can't do that as a VTuber, because if you do that as a VTuber, you're seen as like lesser than others, and like you can't like, you know, be completely like open with your own personality and like your privacy and your like own life and stuff like that. You have to hide that part of yourself because like you only want to show the good parts of your life and like the happiness and stuff that you enjoy, because like people already have a heart already, right? So they want to watch streamers and stuff like that, right? To take out like their selves out of that reality and just enjoy like time away from like such stuff like that, right? But then my position, I'm like, damn, wait, is that like the right way to do this? Am I doing my job wrong? Am I being a VTuber correctly? Am I doing it incorrectly? Like I don't know. So that's why I was heavily influenced to, I was talking a lot, sorry. That's why I was heavily influenced to be more private about, you know, certain things. But now I feel like I'm more open and this is really me, right? And I like doing this a lot more, and it makes me happy that I feel more open about myself and I get to have more of a voice, more of an opinion, and I feel like I don't have to hide certain things about myself in my life.